Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special summer episode of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. I'm your DJ and host, Sam Wilson Jr., and this is the music podcast on where I interview singers and musicians from genres of black music: gospel, jazz, blues, old school classic soul, old school hip hop, today's hip hop and R&B, Caribbean, Latin, Afrobeat, Afro-Latina, blue-eyed soul, disco, go-go, line dances, and the Lost 45s. So come with me as I take you on to a trip to the destination genre of black music right now on a very special summer episode of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Welcome to a very special summer episode of the Black Soul Music Experience. I'm Sam Wilson Jr., and I have a special guest on my show. And this lady that I'm about to introduce is from, say that for me, please.
I was born in capital of Armenia in Yerevan, and I grew up in Greece. And
Okay.
now I am here in
Okay.
New York.
Yes, and as she just said, she's originally from Armenia and now she lives in Yonkers, New York. And we've met. I got a chance to connect with her on LinkedIn. We finally hooked up. She responded. I got a chance to meet her at the Park Central Hotel in New York City. She and her friend Natalia from Ukraine, we got a chance to meet, and they were there to participate in the Carnegie Hall Summer Musical Education Program. I got a chance to interview her last season, and I'm with her in her home in Yonkers, New York. And recently, she and her husband were celebrating 20 years of marriage. And as I said, I'm going to interview her. It's very nice to keep in touch with her. So I'm very delighted to have her back on the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, she is a singer, pianist, composer, and a member of the Recording Academy. And her name is Miss Christie Kanska. Hi, Christie. How are you?
Hello, thank you so much for coming to our music nest. And I'm doing well, and we're having very interesting and busy summer, very musical, with my husband recording very interesting project, the children's album.
Well, as I said, welcome back to my show. It's a pleasure to have you back. And as always, I try to keep in touch with my guests whom I have interviewed and trying to find out what they are doing now with upcoming projects or anything that we need to know. And recently, I got a chance to download your song, Stay Home, which I found I streamed it, downloaded it on iTunes. And as promised, I got a chance to check out the music video on YouTube. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. So, by the way, how have you been doing otherwise since the last time I met you?
Very busy and very interesting musically. I combine my teaching, and at this moment, I have two choirs. One is a youth choir. I teach at De La Salle in New York City, and another one is another private school, Christian school is called uh, St. Margaret. I have their children's choir. And most pleasant fact that the choir is performing my original music, the music that I'm recording. Actually, I have this chance to test it out, my music. And I've been so, mm, you know, happy to see that my music touches hearts of young generation. So I'm testing my songs, and I'm coming here at our music studio at Park Hill, New York, and here I'm continuing recording, arranging, and all the time, things are changing. I record like a whole song, then after a while, I'm coming up with some solo or some mm, different arrangements. It's something like it's a ongoing process, like a painter making like a painting. There is no ending. So all the time you'd like to bring something new, all the time you're finding some new ideas. So ongoing process,
Mm.
creative.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Well, as I said, it's a pleasure to have you back on my podcast, and it's great to see you again. And I always like to keep in touch because I know you was thinking about me. And all these years, I said, "What happened to Sam, the one who have interviewed me on the show?" Well, I can tell you this: this is a very special summer episode, and get ready, folks. Season number 5 will be back on Tuesday, August 26th. So you never know what's going to happen. So I'm not going to give you the rest. You're going to have to tune in and find out. And we'll take it from there. So, as always, I always start off with all the questions and trying to figure out what you're doing now. So, let us begin. Now, I first met you on LinkedIn, and when you got a chance to reach out, we connect. So, as a former Viacom CBS Paramount employee doing the podcast and a DJ, and I looked at my LinkedIn and I see this name, Christie Kanska, singer, pianist, and it says based on my profile. And I said to myself, do I have to interview this lady? And then, since I'm in the music and as a church deacon, and I said to myself, let's do something new. So in season 4, I had a chance to interview a diversity of musicians that love soul music, whether it's outside of the U.S. and all over the world. I always ask my guests what was their favorite soul music musicians. So I'm going to ask my guest, and we're going to talk about that later on. So, as I said, the first time I met you on LinkedIn, we connected and you have responded. And I met you at the Park Central Hotel in New York City. And you and your friend Natalia from Ukraine, I got a chance to meet for the very first time. So, when I first met you, what was your reaction when you first saw me for the first time?
Oh, interesting question. You know, I was happy that somebody is very curious um, about my music, and it's a good chance that I'm coming. Especially, I came to New York during COVID. We just moved in 2020, and for me, always it's very pleasant to meet new people who are established like you, and also you love and you know the music style that I like so much. My father would play soul, blues, jazz since my childhood. And when I came to America, I was like very well prepared. I knew the history of that music. I listened to it, so many LPs. Um, yeah, I was so happy that I could find someone who loves the same style of music like myself. And we had lots of things in common that we could share.
Okay. Now, I see that you speak in Armenian, and also other languages. What other languages do you speak in besides Armenian?
I speak 5 languages. My mom, she's Greek. I speak with my mom in Greek. I speak Armenian because my father is Armenian. My husband is Czech, and I was living in Czech Republic. I learned Czech language. I can read. I speak. Uh, Also, I went to the Russian school. I speak Russian. I'm very fluent in Russian, and I love to read in Russian. I love that language. And also, since my 10 years old, uh, I had a British teacher. I started, yes, learning English. Yeah, it's so nice to know many languages. You can meet people and to understand their mentalities.
Now, as an explorer myself, I always like to find out in many different languages. So, if you had any relatives that are visiting right now in Armenia, how would they say my name in Armenian? Would they say it in Armenian or just regular English?
Sam will be maybe Samuel, Samuel, Samuel.
Okay. All right. That's
Yeah, it could be.
That's good to know because, as I said, we're learning from each other. You know, we're learning from different cultures, and every place that I go to, if anybody from overseas would say my name in any language, we all know that music is universal and music is the healing force of the world that brings people together and it soothes, it uplifts, it inspires us, and unites us. So when I go from these 50 states, I usually stay on the East Coast and down south. I always like to figure out how do they say my name in different English. So that's an example of, why we're here. We're learning from each other,
Mm-hmm.
different music. In other words, I'm learning more about your culture and you learn about mine. And that's what it should be. Through music, it could bring the best in all of us to be united.
That's right.
Now, growing up in Armenia, did Armenian radio play any American artists, such as American jazz artists?
Yes, a lot. Armenia, especially Yerevan, the capital, uh, has lots of great jazz musicians. And because many Armenians, like they had their relatives in LA or most of them in LA, we had that access always to receive music from America. And I remember we were just gathering, and someone will bring like a videotape or some LP that some relatives sent from America. And we were listening to that music. And, I was just a teenager. Then I started to listen to Joni Mitchell, Pat Metheny, and lots of definitely, all the legends like Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan. So I grew up listening this kind of music. And as you said, lots of music was playing also on the radio. Hmm.
Okay. Now, growing up, who was some of your favorite American jazz artists? You mentioned Ella Fitzgerald. Who were some of the others that were some of your favorites?
Yeah, I have to mention Ella Fitzgerald because I would just transcribe her music. I remember even I had some piece of paper on the wall, and I would just transcribe all her scat because there is no lyrics. Yes, I was just listening and transcribing even how she was getting the words. So yeah, her singing was really it touches my heart. Yeah, I remember Blue Moon. Blue Moon, and you know all her very famous songs. I would just sing and transcribe, especially solos. Yeah, I was really interested about solos. Mm, Definitely, along I would just listen to um, Louis Armstrong, Ellington, Gershwin, you know, all these like a jazz classical composers, performers. But as well, I needed something more. I love also the modern jazz.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was listening lots of lots of guitar players,
Mm-hmm.
Scofield, Paz Martini,
Mm-hmm.
um, mm, Keith Jarrett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and and I had lots of favorite drummers. Being a singer, I was listening most of all lots of instrumental music.
Mm-hmm.
hmm Billy Cobham. Yeah, it's so many. Um, I have like a long list of musicians, singers. But most of all, I have to tell you that my interest was listen to instrumental music more than singers
Mm-hmm.
and improvisation.
Right.
Yeah, because I like surprise. I love that creative part of um, instant creation of music.
Uh-huh.
hmm
Yeah. And who were some of your jazz musical influences that inspired you to play any instruments?
Mm, again, it's so many. I just don't want to mention one person.
Right.
Um, but I could say uh, mm, Pat Metheny because
Mm-hmm.
I was listening his albums like endlessly. I would just go sleep and wake up listening to this kind of music. I felt like uh, I inside my heart, I love to listen to it and also maybe compose some kind of crossover or modern jazz music.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of fits to my mentality, despite I respect also traditional jazz music.
Right.
But I like also some wonderful guitar player. Um, then it goes also the name of the guitar player that I love. No, another one that he died. Yes, Alan Halsworth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alan Halsworth, or let's say Steve Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and another guitar player from Germany. Yeah, it's a lots of more. I love modern jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a mixture of jazz, rock, pop.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that interesting mix
Mm.
together. It
Okay.
kind of speaks to my heart.
Right. Now, I got a chance to see some of your pictures on LinkedIn. You toured all around the world in the countries. You got a chance to tour in different places like New Delhi, India, Mumbai. Which country did you get a standing ovation when you performed in any of these countries?
Wherever I perform, people would just show their respect and love to what I was giving.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I start performing in my early age in front of people, and number one that I noticed how music can uh, change people's faces. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I remember I was 16 years old and I did my first concert in Armenia in front of many people. And because it was solo concert, during
Mhm.
whole concert, my leg was like trembling, shaking.
Oh,
But it's
okay.
good that I had the long dress and nobody could notice that. But the outcome of the concert was when I performed, I saw that people came very tired after work, and with the spirit of music, I could uplift them.
Mhm.
And since that day, this is uh, this is the good definition. If I perform and I can change people's spirits, yes, I
Mhm.
can uplift their spirits. It means I'm doing right my job.
Mhm.
Why I am performing? Because I would like to share with them what I discover. Because in this life, oh, we need also that kind of beautiful spiritual vibe. And when we are full and we share to people, uh, then you get that ovation, you respect. Uh, yes. And sometimes you don't know, but I always try to do my best
Right.
because when I'm on the stage, this is the place, oh, like I have my responsibility.
Mhm.
So I'm not there just only like some people going, for fame. No, I'm there to share uh, my music, my beautiful spirit.
Mhm. Okay. Now, you and your husband, as I mentioned in the intro, you just celebrated 20 years of marriage. Now, how did you both met?
Oh, we met each other at Berklee College of Music. It was a place where we just go and collect our letters from the professors'
Hmm.
mailbox.
Right.
And it was really hard to open that mailbox. And I would always ask someone to open for me.
Hmm.
It was very tricky to open. And by that way, I met lots of people just asking them favor to open that mailbox. And one day came a tall guy, very interesting looking, and he was walking like a space. I was really kind of captivated about this his look,
Hmm.
and I asked him, and he's very kindly helped me, and we started to talk to each other. This was the beginning, and then it became to long-lasting friendship, and then
Hmm.
friendship followed to marriage.
Okay. Well, congratulations on
Hmm.
your marriage, celebrating 20 years and everything, and continued success on uniting, not just only in marriage, but continuing to bring in the music so that everyone can share.
Yeah, this is the unity of two soulmates. This is like something like, and I was praying for that for many years.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I couldn't find the person because I'm a musician.
Hmm.
I have maybe different needs. For me, I just not just got married because I should got married. I just really wanted to find some person with whom I can share each second of my life, my thoughts, my music. And it's so nice that we compose together.
Hmm.
It's a really wonderful uh, union, and I'm so grateful.
Okay. Now, you and your husband have founded Z as in zebra, C as in cat, and K as in kangaroo, which is the Music Academy and Recording Studios. And this is my second time, in your home. And when we met last year, and I met your husband, and I got a chance to come downstairs to the basement, and I see all of these instruments that I grew up on. Although I didn't get a chance to play one on piano, I just played one. I was just playing it for fun, but not for like music lessons and everything. But all the instruments that I grew up on, I grew up on the bass. And, back in the days, the jazz will have that bass. But when the 70s came and they had that other one, you hear that in stereo. I'm talking about real stereo. When I say real stereo, that big bass, you will have that big Hoover speakers, that real bass stereo sound. And I grew up with all the instruments. Now, how many years that you and your husband formed the production studios, and how long was it in existence?
We call ZCK Music Academy and Recording Studios. Uh, it started in 2014 when I established that school in Massachusetts. And along we started to do recording. So in 2014, we had our first performance in Weston. I rented beautiful hall with two concert pianos, and we had amazing uh, recital. Yes, sold out recital, and everything. I put so much enthusiasm, and I didn't know what will come up. Uh, because my ideas was so big. I just wanted beautiful halls, beautiful instruments, um, and uh, it paid off because people will come and they will donate, and it paid off all my effort. This was like a really nice beginning. Uh, and then I'll become very famous teacher there. In Shrewsbury, it was like a big Indian community, and the one would say another one. And one day when we did rehearsal, and we had that Victorian house that we converted to school, a
Mm-hmm.
huge house, with 12 rooms. Um, yeah, and the people would come. I was teaching voice and piano, and in that time, I got involved with RCM. Um, it's a Royal Conservatory Development Program has a really good, respectful curriculum. And many of my students, they got gold medals. They start to perform at Carnegie Hall, at the wonderful venues in New York. Uh, and and then during that time, we recorded with Danek the Lurava, my album. With that album, we went tour to India. Yeah, and it was really successful tour. Oh, we saw so many places. Also, we stayed in India almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
First year we taught at there's some modern uh, colleges,
Mm-hmm.
contemporary music colleges, and then second year we toured with the Lurava,
Mm-hmm.
the Dream, with my album. Um, and then in 2020, when the COVID hits,
Mm-hmm.
we came to here to New York. But then, I couldn't stop. All these people would follow me, and since the time that I went to India, I start already teaching online. I would just wake up early in the morning, 5 a.m. from hotel, and I had my keyboard,
Mm-hmm.
and I would teach online my students who were like in America.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I moved to New York in 2020, uh, my fame went to Singapore, China, and all my teaching actually was online.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So during COVID, I was really busy teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that time when we came and the COVID hits, it was very um, difficult time for us.
Mm-hmm.
We came to the place to New York, to the place of our dream, and we found the New York totally empty. I asked Danik to drive me to the Manhattan, and I took my camera and all these empty streets that you saw on my music video, I took them. And when I came home, in that time we couldn't bring all my grand pianos, the instruments. I had only my Nord keyboard in the corner, uh, and I start writing that song, "Stay Home."
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But so while you're not on tour, you're also a piano and voice teacher. You just mentioned earlier about education. How long have you been teaching piano lessons and voice lessons?
Many, many years. Um, I prepared my first student for the conservatory when I was just 16 years old. So over 35 years I'm teaching. This was just, I think it was my calling as well. As composing coming to me very essential way, the music, it's, it's coming from my heart, from my spirit, from my mind. I never force myself to compose. This is something like essentially given. Same thing, I love sharing. I think that brought me to teaching. The good teachers are the ones who love to share. And students, they feel that. And definitely you need also a good knowledge
Right.
to share, that it takes you many years of experience. I started my music journey when I was just 5 years old. And in my 16 already, I had that knowledge and experience that I could share with someone. And I remember that student was older than me.
Now, you became a member of the Recording Academy, which we all know, the Grammys. And how many years have you been a member of the Recording Academy?
It could be now 5 years. It's 5 years. I'm in this great community of music creators. And recording, uh, it's been my another favorite uh, part of my music journey. I started recording when I was 18 years old. So wherever I've been, I started in Armenia, then I moved to Greece and America, wherever I go. And at Berkeley, I recorded in 2005 my album Who Needs Love, and I included all that wonderful musicians, teachers whom I met at Berkeley. Um, Leo Blanco, Jamie Haddad, Jamie Haddad, who was recording with Paul Simon.
Okay.
I mean, and my husband, Ricky Dumusio, as well. I hire a whole string quartet because in that time I was composing some crossover music. Uh, some of my favorite was the Summer Storm, and the title of the album was the Who Needs Love.
Now, let's talk about your song Stay Home, which we got a chance to talk about it in the last season. And I got a chance to check out the song, and the song was released in 2022. I got a chance to download the song on iTunes. So, coming back home from Charleston, I was checking my emails on the Amtrak train. I said, let's look for that song. And I typed in your name on iTunes. So, I've downloaded the song, Stay Home. And as promised, I got a chance to check out your music video on YouTube. And you explained it all about us in New York during the pandemic, all quiet. No one is outside. Everyone is indoors. I wanted to ask you, who did the music video? Was it you or your husband or someone else?
Um, if you saw, I had different footage there. The empty New York I did by myself because I was combining, different parts. Yeah, I took my camera and then I was driving. That's how I took that part. And then I had another friend of mine, Lisa. She came and we was trying to find with her some kind of right lightning. It in that time I brought already my grand piano was here, so yeah, we were just experimenting. I just wanted to try to find some nice intimate spots, yeah, that I could combine. And the outside, it was our own, our garden.
Right.
I couldn't actually go far away because it was COVID. We were all in isolated place. And this beautiful garden and the house, everything combined, and definitely editing I did all by myself. In Massachusetts, in Marlboro, we were like where we had that house in the school. Um, there, I had opportunity to go and to study video editing at the TV station. So, and all that knowledge, it helped me during COVID
Right.
to do even all editing by myself.
Wow. You've done a lot of hard work, and I want to say congrats on that music video. You put a lot of heart and soul into it, and I salute you.
Thank you, thank you, and thanks to my husband that, and we had all this equipment at home to record. We produce everything, and music video here.
Wow. Now, let's talk about some of your gospel albums that we've talked about in the last season. You are a choir director. Have you done any gospel albums since the last time we've talked?
My gospel songs, my original song, "Every Day Is the Day of God." Um, Dennis Montgomery at Berklee College of Music, he conducts the gospel choir. He arranged the song, and the song sung by the gospel choir. And I remember after each rehearsal, everybody would just clap. The people liked it so much, and I was so happy. Then I was born in different country, listening, being half Armenian and half Greek, creating that gospel music. My music could touch the people, who was listening. This was like their national music. So as you see, the music has no boundaries. Yeah, I was really so happy that they would enjoying and singing, and Dennis did a great arrangement, and we had beautiful players, and my song was performed on the stage at Berklee College of Music for the summer program with a big choir where came all that students, from all over the world and America.
Right. Now, I got a chance to check out some of your other music videos on YouTube, and I saw the LP upstairs on the piano. I've downloaded a couple of your tracks on
Yeah.
iTunes, and I did get a chance to see some of the other videos that I got a chance to see on YouTube. So I give you a big thumbs up. And when I see some of those, I just click on that thumbs button. I said, "You did good."
I'm not only a musician, I also graduated from the art college. And for me, I love movies. And I'm writing music also, uh, watching the footage. Maybe one day I will do also film score. Yes, because I love visual art and I feel all the details. And who will do better that music video? I have all that ideas. I'm writing down, as a producer, because a singer, a musician has to be as a producer, you have to be a producer.
Mm-hmm.
And visually, I I can I can find out and I see the ways how to express myself, not only musically but also visually.
Mm-hmm.
And I love movies, and I love to make my own music videos.
Mm.
Hmm.
Wow. Again, I applaud you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, on a serious note, as you said earlier, that you are a vocal and music teacher, because me growing up, I was in the third grade. I went to private school on New York's Upper West Side, and yes, I did take up music class. We had a teacher that almost looked like Lindsay Wagner from the Bionic Woman,
Hmm.
and yes, I was listening to her music. You know, everybody from Carole King, Carly Simon, Three Dog Night, Jim Croce, just to name a few. And me growing up, me and mom, we were listening to the other radio stations on a Sunday afternoon. We were listening to some top 40 radio stations. Here in the NYC, we had WPIX FM 102, where they had top 40, and then later they changed the format to rock, and then they changed it back to top 40, and then later changed to CD 101.9. And then we had WRR 98.7. Later changed the call letters to WXLO, which is 99X. And then later FM 99. It was all top 40 music. And then in 1981, they changed it over to 98.7 KISS. It was all soul and R&B. And there were some others, WABC Music Radio 77, and so many others. So, as I said earlier, I got a chance to listen to some of the other music and some other things. In other words, I'm listening to your music and I get a chance to get to know other cultures. So
Hmm.
I have to ask you this question. And me growing up, I got a chance to play the violin, but I wanted to play the violin so bad when I went to IS 144, which is now MS 144 in the Bronx, New York. I got a chance to play the violin, but it takes practice. And practice makes perfect. And you have to know your mathematics, 4/8 of a note. And yes, I did take up piano lessons, but you got to practice. And if I was doing a concert, then you got to perform. You just can't be slipping one note, everybody be booing. So I have to ask you this question on why music education is so important.
Hmm. Very good question. Music, it's embrace so many parts of your brain. You know, when you play music, you have to use and your analytic part and the creative. Also, music, it's a new language. You're learning new language. Music, it's a mat. Music helps you to express yourself. Also, music, it's a discipline. That's why I think at school they have to teach music as they teach math or history. May not everyone will become a famous musician, but everyone should learn music. This is my opinion. As I see how music built me, for me as a human. If it not was music, you know, first of all, I can live without music.
Mhm.
If I don't touch piano daily basis, then I feel like, you know, my soul is aching.
Mhm.
Yeah. And this is my sanctuary. or maybe, for me, music, it's, I'm taking so deeply. This is my, um,
It's
you
kind of
know,
like a healing process or like
yeah, it's
therapy.
healing, it's therapy. And from my childhood, uh, I always would find happiness in music. You know, I would just wait when everybody will leave from the
Mm-hmm.
home that I can be
Mm-hmm.
alone,
Mm-hmm.
playing on my piano and composing. This is the place where you are so close to God.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an intimate place where you reach that level.
Mm-hmm. As we always say, music education equals brain power. And as I
Hmm.
said earlier, music is the healing force of the world. It unites us, it inspires us, it uplifts us, and it brings out the best in all of us. And I will listen to all types of music. And who was my influence in radio? I grew up on the late Frankie Crocker, radio DJ personality. And on his show, when he was on WWRL AM 1600, and then later moved over to 107.5 WBLS in 1972 up until the 90s, he would play any types of music. He didn't care if it was white, black, Latino, Asian, Caribbean, Native American, LGBTQ. He knew that music was music. If it
Hmm.
fits his show, it plays on his show. And me growing up, I would never know that he would start playing some white artists like Frankie Valli, for example. I knew who Frankie Valli was because I've seen the commercials from Columbia House and Vista Marketing, KTEL, Ronco, Adamate, those record labels. But when the first time I heard Frankie Crocker playing Frankie Valli, I was like, whoa, Frankie Valli was keeping up with the times. So he would play pop, disco, you name it. So Frankie Crocker was the one who broke all genres and the boundaries in music. So if it fits his show, it got rhythm that gets your feet tapping. Or on Sunday morning, when you're praising God, it uplifts you and inspires you. And when you get to jazz, it gets a tap into as well. So rest in peace to radio DJ personality Frankie Crocker. That's the one that I was influenced by
Hmm.
to do this podcast. And that's why I always wanted to do a diversity of musicians who love soul music. And that's what the purpose of my podcast is all about.
Yeah, music has so many functions, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Starting, yeah, you can worship God, say funeral music,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual music,
Mm-hmm.
dance music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all parts of our life would be so flat without music.
Mm-hmm.
And also, yeah, the great power, as you said, is connection.
Mm-hmm.
When I came to the US, to Boston,
Mm-hmm.
new place, new
Mm-hmm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
different nationalities.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw that great power of music. The music's language is a language of heart.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter in which language you will sing, the people will feel the heart of the music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was kind of, yeah, I'm so grateful that music always helped me to connect to people.
Right. Now, here on the Black Soul Music Experience podcast, I always ask my guests who are the top 10 R&B black artists of all time. But since this is a special summer episode with my guest Christie Kanska, and we are talking about some of our favorite jazz artists, we're going to do the Black Soul top 10 jazz artists of all time. Now, here's how it works. We start like a top 10 countdown, like the show America's Top 10, hosted by the late Casey Kasem. And we will start to the bottom five We will find out who was the best singer but didn't get any recognition. And then we get to the top five. We will find out who was the best artist of all time. Did that artist receive its top 10 number one hits on Billboard's jazz albums charts? Did that artist receive a Grammy or an American Music Award or an MTV VMA Award or a BET Award? Or did that artist got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Or did that artist performed on American Bandstand or Soul Train or The Midnight Special or NBC Saturday Night Live or Solid Gold? Or did they have that primetime special aired on CBS, NBC, or ABC? Or did that artist performed on PBS, whether it's great performances? Or that they had that special during Pledge Month? Or did they had that live special which was aired on HBO and Showtime? So I'm going to start with mine's off, and when I'm finished, I'll let you think of yours. So I'm going to start with mine's first. So at number 10, I'm putting down Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. And when the late Frankie Crocker played that song, Give Me That Wine, and some other tunes, and at first I thought you said LaBelle, Hendricks, and Ross, but no, it's Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. And when I was at CBS, when CBS had records, they had the LP Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. I picked up that free album, so it's the first integrated interracial jazz trio. So you got John Hendricks, that's the brother man, and you have Paul Lambert and Annie Ross, two white artists. So they're known for their scatting and their bebopping and jazz. They bring everything together. So I put Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross at number 10. Number 9, I just put a tie. I just put down Candy Dulfer, representing Amsterdam, and the Crusaders. So they brought in contemporary jazz, or today we call it smooth jazz. So Candy Dulfer was known for her hits, including Lily Was Here, which had Dave Stewart from The Eurythmics. So I've listened to both versions, the regular version and the remix from DNA, which they usually played on black radio. And as for the Crusaders, they're known for its contemporary jazz with the late Joe Sample on the Hammond organ. They're known for its hits including Stomp and Buck Dance. And the other one that I like, Greasy Spoon. That's the song that I like. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. And then one of the instrumentals with that saxophone, love that instrumental version. And yes, they performed that on Soul Train. So they were the first jazz artists to appear on Soul Train to perform that song. So I put a tie, Candy Dulfer and the Crusaders at number 9. Number 8, I've given another tie. The Manhattan Transfer. They came on the scene back in 1975. It was introduced to us. They had their own summer variety show aired on CBS back in the summer of 1975. And then when the late Frankie Crocker played their songs on WBLS, they played a song Tuxedo Junction. And I love that song. And it was the first time I heard the Manhattan Transfer on WBLS. And my late mother never knew who was the Manhattan Transfer. Because me growing up, I would see every artist. I didn't care if it was white or black, but if you got some mixing in there, love it. So I put the Manhattan Transfer. And of course, Bobby McFerrin. He's best known for doing instruments from his voice. And he didn't have no bass, no guitar, no nothing. He would imitate. So he's best known for his number one hit, Don't Worry, Be Happy, which was a number one hit.
Don't
back.
worry, be happy.
Yep. And I saw the music video too with cameo appearances by Bill Irwin and the late Robin Williams. So Bobby McFerrin, I knew him first from doing the Levi's commercial.
Mm.
And yes, he did also the theme for The Cosby Show. And he had some other commercials. And yes, he performed on NBC's Saturday Night Live. That was back in December of 1988. So I put at a tie the Manhattan Transfer and Bobby McFerrin. Number 7, I'm putting down another tie, and that's the late Ray Charles and Miss Linda Ronstadt. Now, both of those artists that I just mentioned, they've crossed all genres. Ray Charles, he would sing R&B, jazz, soul, and country. Same thing with Linda Ronstadt. Linda Ronstadt would sing pop. She would sing soft rock. She would sing jazz and country. And yes, Latin music in honor of her grandfather. And one of her albums she did was called Canciones de mi Padre, Songs of My Father, which won her a Grammy Award for Best Latin Album. And yes, she got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the class of 2014, as well as Ray Charles. He was the first one to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for the class of 1986. So I put Ray Charles and Linda Ronstadt at number 7. Number 6, I'll put another tie. The late Quincy Jones and the Pointer Sisters. Quincy Jones, we all knew him as a jazz trumpeter. And yes, he produced so many artists from all genres, whether it's from Quincy Jones or the Brothers Johnson, or Ashford and Simpson, Patty Austin. And yes, he performed others, including Jack Wagner. Yes, the actor Jack Wagner from General Hospital on ABC Daytime. And he had his own record label, Quest Records, that had George Benson, the Winans, Saida Garrett, and Tamia, and many others. But he'll be best remembered for the motion picture music scores. He did In the Heat of the Night and In Cold Blood in 1967. He also did the movie version The Wiz in 1978, The Color Purple in 1985, The Out of Towners in 1970. And yes, he'll be best remembered for the TV themes. The theme from Ironside on NBC, also Sanford and Son, and Hey Landlord. All those 3 shows aired on NBC. And yes, he'll be known for his other ones, including The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He produced that for NBC, and Mad TV aired Saturday night on Fox. And as for the Pointer Sisters, they crossed genres too. They were singing soul, they were singing jazz, they would sing pop. And yes, they did some country songs too, including that song Fairy Tale, which won them a Grammy Award. So the Pointer Sisters kept up with the times. So I put down Quincy Jones and the Pointer Sisters at number 6. Number 5, I put down Duke Ellington and Count Basie, known for its classical, jazz, and everything. Duke Ellington, known for some of his tunes. And Count Basie, that one that I know, he had did a song that was from the movie Blazing Saddles. So that was the song that I like. And I put down Duke Ellington and Count Basie at number 5. Number 4, the late Ramsey Lewis. When I first heard Ramsey Lewis, I heard from his LP called Sun Goddess, which was released on the Columbia CBS label back in 1974. And had some hits, including Sun Goddess, and he did his version of Stevie Wonder's Living for the City. And he had some classical jazz in there in the later years, just to name a few. So rest in peace to jazz musician, the late Ramsey Lewis. Number 3, George Benson. When I first heard George Benson, I only heard from him back in 1976 when WBLS played his songs Breezin', and then this masquerade, when he started singing and playing his guitar, it go that he's best known for that. So other tunes came in, but I didn't know that George Benson came on the scene in 1966. That I didn't know. I only knew him when he came on the scene in 1976 when he crossed over from jazz to mainstream soul and R&B. So I would put George Benson at number 3. Number 2, Herbie Hancock. He came on the scene during the 70s, and yes, he had did some tracks with the late Miles Davis. Herbie Hancock had played everything. He was playing classical jazz. In the 70s, he broke out with fusion jazz. But by 1983, he came out with a song called Rocket. This is the first time that I've seen Herbie Hancock in the music video. He kept up with the times with hip hop. And I would say to myself, how did a jazz musician keep up with the times with some hip hop in the mix? So I would never knew that Herbie Hancock would do that tune, Rocket. And he had some other tunes as well, including Stars in Your Eyes and many others. And Chameleon, that's the one that I like. And the first time I heard that song, it was 15 minutes, the long version. So I will put Herbie Hancock at number 2. And by the way, he did the music score for the movie The Original Death Wish, which starred the late Charles Bronson and the late Hope Lange. So he did the music score for that movie in 1974, and he also did the movie Colors in 1988, which had Robert Duvall, Sean Penn, and Maria Conchita Alonso. So we'll put Herbie Hancock at number 2. And last but not least, I put Miles Davis at number 1. Now, Miles Davis, he kept up with the times. It was bebop, classical, and yes, in the late 60s into the 70s, fusion jazz. And then by the 80s, he would do some remakes. He did a remake of Michael Jackson's Human Nature and a remake of Cyndi Lauper's After Time. So he continued on until he passed away in September of 1991. So Miles Davis kept up with the times. So I put Miles Davis at number 1. So those are my top 10 jazz of all time. And I want to put some bonus in there too, even though it's not the top 10. But I want to give a shout out to those artists, including Patrice Rushen. She started out in jazz and then later mainstream to soul and R&B, including Forget Me Nots, Haven't You Heard, and Remind Me. Also Grover Washington Jr., best known for his tune Mr. Magic. The late Roy Ayers, he's known for his tunes, including Everybody Loves the Sunshine, which later became a sample for Mary J. Blige. And also, he did some music scores for the movie Coffee, just to name a few. And we don't want to leave out the late Chick Corea in contemporary jazz, electric piano, and Gloria Lynn that I knew from her LPs, including I Should Care, I'm Glad There's You, and just to name a few. And yes, we don't want to leave out singer and actress Julie London. Now, I didn't know that Julie London was a jazz singer back then. I only knew her as an actress from the medical drama series Emergency, which was aired on NBC, and that was a spinoff from the show Adam 12, which was created and produced by her then husband, the late Jack Webb. So I'm putting those bonuses on my list. So, Christy, do you have any of your favorites?
All that musician that you just mentioned, I grew up listening definitely Miles Davis, Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea, George Benson. I saw live concert of B.B. King, and actually he came and he gave it to me some necklace.
Mm.
I saw live James Brown. I would just listen James Brown, in that time. Also, you mentioned Manhattan Transfer. I was listening all these beautiful harmonies. Um, and I have to add that I was listening lots of also pop music, and
Mm-hmm.
Sting is some of my favorite singer-songwriter. Yes, and R&B. For R&B, I have to mention the Aretha Franklin. I grew up listening, and when I came to Berkeley, I had so many, um, you know, I was taking classes with R&B music,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned so many interesting songs of Aretha Franklin. I study more deeper, her music,
Mm-hmm.
and and I love also, you know, new artists who's coming up, bringing interesting ideas. Um, Glasper.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I like that combination of R&B with jazz
Mm-hmm.
and pop.
Yes.
Hmm.
Now, the first time I've heard something from Aretha Franklin, I didn't know that she can do jazz because there was an album called Aretha's Jazz. There was some
Mm.
unreleased singles that we've never heard of. And the only Aretha Franklin that I knew that she sung her number one hit, Respect. And that was written by the late Otis Redding. Although it wasn't a hit for Otis, but it became a hit for Aretha. It was number one on Billboard's Hot 100 Pop Singles charts and on the Soul Singles charts. And it became a women's empowerment song. It resonates back in 1967 and it still resonates today. So the only Aretha Franklin that I knew that she would sing soul, she would sing gospel with her two LPs, includes Amazing Grace from 1972 and One Lord, One Faith, One Baptism in 1988. And that won her a Grammy for Best Gospel Album. And 1998, when I was watching the Grammy Awards on CBS Live from Radio City Music Hall, I would never believe that the unthinkable, that Aretha Franklin would sing opera. That's right, I've said it, opera. When Luciano Pavarotti was supposed to perform that night and he wasn't feeling well. So the producers of the Grammys had came to Aretha and said, "Can you do this?" And Aretha said, "I'm going to give it a shot." And when I saw Aretha performing,
Wow.
oh my goodness, you would never believe that she would sing opera. And everyone got a standing ovation. You've seen some singers that are like, bravo. And you see some were in tears that we would never knew that Aretha would change the boundaries. So hats off to Aretha Franklin, Grammy Award winner, American Music Award winner, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee for the class of 1987. She had done it all. So rest in peace to the Queen of Soul, Miss Aretha
She
Franklin.
was playing beautifully piano as well.
Hmm. And she's best known for her remakes too, including a remake of Spanish Harlem, Don't
Mm.
Play That Song, and Jumpin' Jack Flash back in the 80s. Well, Christy, it's a pleasure to have you back on the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. It's been a
Mm.
pleasure keeping in touch with you, and I always check on my guests and I'm trying to figure out what are they doing now. So it's a pleasure to have you back. And I was thinking about you, and you were thinking about me and some other things, but
Yeah,
it's
it's so
always
kind of you. Thank you so much. And also, Always, I learn from you. You original from here. You know all the details, and I love history. And you learn so much from the details.
Hmm.
And I'm so grateful that you continue doing this podcast and educating, and new generation can learn so much because now they don't play so much that music.
Hmm.
But we have to keep all that legacy, and the
Hmm.
people like you and others should continue doing. I
Wow.
really appreciate.
Well, thank you for the compliment. And as
Mm-hmm.
an uncle of two nieces, my oldest one, she will listen to today's music, and my youngest niece, she will listen to some old school, and all of the actors and actresses back in history time. So it's very an honor to bring this podcast to you. It's the first music podcast ever that we get a chance to talk and to learn more about our favorite musicians, including my guest, Christie Kanska, who's originally from Armenia. We learn from each other, different cultures. I learned about her, and she'll learn a lot from me. And as I said earlier, music brings people together. It's like a healing process, therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, music is my communicator, is my friend, and it's my tranquility. So when I do my travels, whether I'm visiting my cousins, during my birthday vacation or the family reunions, I would have my Walkman on. I will play something, and now we got the computer. I will start playing all the stuff from iTunes. So now I get a chance to play what I can play on my computer. So again, thank you again for being back on my podcast. And I would love to have you come back because I always like to check on all of my guests. And like the talk show, we always like to check on our returning guests, whether they're promoting any projects or anything. It's always a pleasure to reach out and say, hey, come on back to my podcast. I would love to hear from you and to learn more about you.
Yeah, it will be my big pleasure to share with you when we will complete the album. And in this album, in children's album, I include lots of uh, jazz,
Hmm.
gospel.
Hmm.
Actually, I will I include because I never recorded "Every Day Is a Day of God." This
Hmm.
will be in this album. I have gospel and some other songs like as I Love the Dogs. In my solos, I'm using lots of beautiful harmonies. They're like sounds like more like jazz harmonies.
Hmm.
I just didn't want to just play some simple chords, make it like simple melodies for children's. No,
Right.
um, with my husband, we put so much, all our knowledge and experience, all this crossover styles came together.
Hmm.
And yeah, I will be so happy to share with you, with audience, our upcoming album. It will call Songbird. And Songbird, it's a piano composition that I compose. And do you know how I composed that song? I was teaching a girl from Singapore online,
Hmm.
and I was teaching her how to compose music.
Hmm.
She gave me an idea about bird, and I create the story. The
Hmm.
story helped me to uh, build the music.
Hmm.
Yeah, music lines. They build by story.
Hmm.
So that's how I wrote the song. I mean, the piano composition, Songbird. And this will be the title of the album.
Okay, well, thank you for that quick plug, and we're
Mhm.
looking forward to listening to that project real soon. Speaking of projects, where can we follow you for any upcoming events? Where can we follow you on social media?
You can follow me on my website, Christie Kanska.Com, as well on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, so many platforms, yeah, that you can follow me.
Okay. Download all the artists that we have talked about on this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Visit iTunes.com, Spotify.com, or purchase a CD at Amazon.com. And make sure you follow Miss Christie Kanska. Go to her website, ChristieKanska.com. Follow her on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but, I'm just trying to get used to these different platforms. And make sure you check out her song, Stay Home. It's available right now. All you need to do is download the song, go to iTunes, and just download the song, Stay Home, from Miss Christie Kanska. And check out all of her music videos right now on YouTube. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out this episode, please subscribe by going to the link. The link is riverside.fm/studio/Samuel-Wilson Jr.'s. Don't forget to add the S at the end, -studio. And yes, I will be posting this episode on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And if you have a hard time getting on to riverside.fm, then please become a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Log on to Patreon, go to the Patreon homepage where you see all of the shows airing on Patreon. Go to the top and type in the Black Soul Music Experience podcast and check out all of my audio podcast episodes as well as the video podcast clips that you may have missed. And if you have a hard time getting on to Patreon, then we will be posting this episode on YouTube. All you need to do is go to youtube.com, go to the YouTube homepage, and type in the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. If you like this episode, if you love my podcast, please subscribe, please support, give me a thumbs up, please leave a comment, and please pass it on. Thank you for joining me as I close out this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience. Well, that's about it for this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. I'm Sam Wilson Jr. Thank you for joining me, and we'll be back on Tuesday, August 26th, as I bring you season number 5 of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. The Black Soul Music Experience podcast is sponsored by the support of listeners and viewers like you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe by going to riverside.fm/studio/Samuel-Wilson Jr.'s -studio. And don't forget to check out my audio and video podcast episodes by becoming a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. And also check out my video podcast episodes by subscribing to youtube.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. And please leave your comments, feedbacks, and replies by going to my Facebook homepage. Go to facebook.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. And you can also tweet me on X, aka Twitter, at Sam Wilson Jr. 66. As always, parting, remember this: reach for the top and your dreams will come true, and it can happen to you. From all of us, take care, God bless, thanks for tuning in, and have a safe and happy summer.